How did you wind up in New York?
I was working out of Los Angeles. New Year's Day, I get a phone call from Mike LaBelle. He said, write this phone number down. When you hang up talking to me, you call this number. I said, who am I calling? He said, Vince McMahon Sr. I went, okay. I hung up talking to Mike. I redialed the phone. Vince McMahon Sr. was like sitting there waiting. Picked up the phone. And I said, Mr. McMahon, I said, Mike LaBelle told me to give you a call right away. He says, yes. He says, you're coming to New York. If you want to. I said, everybody wants to go to New York. And he goes, don't misunderstand me. It's not going to happen tomorrow or next week or next month. He said, it's going to be a little while. He said, but from now on until you come to this territory, I want to know where you are. I want to know that you're being taken care of, that you're making enough money to earn a living on and everything else. He said, when I get ready, he says, I need you to come. I went, yes, sir. He said, about every 6 weeks or so, I want a phone call from you. So from there, for the next 2 years, I called him about every 6 weeks to let him know how I was doing, where I was.
Oh, wow. It was a 2-year window.
Yep.
Wow. Did you think at any point in time that it wasn't going to happen and you were just blowing smoke, or did you know you were going to go in still?
I, like everybody else in a situation like that, you have reservations. And I kept hoping it would happen and hoping it would happen. And I kept being reassured that it was going to happen. And every time I talked to Vince Sr., it was, you're coming, you know.
What are your memories of your debut? How did it come about?
It was on TV. Jay brought me out as the little brother. And
did you know Jay prior to this at all?
No. And the crowd went absolutely nuts in the Allentown Fairgrounds at the TV, and I was flabbergasted. You know, I'd been doing TV for probably a good 9 weeks, and when I walked through that curtain to go to the ring that day, it was the most unbelievable thing that ever happened to me in my life, in my career. The crowd just went crazy, you know, and I went, whoa.
What year is this around? 82, 81?
This is 82.
82?
Yep. March of it, 1982.
What was the initial angle that they did with you and Jay together? Was it that?
No, it was against...
Fuji Saito?
No, it was against... Keith Franks. And I forget who his tag team partner was at the time. Then it turned into Fuji and Saito shortly thereafter.
That was pretty much your first big program in WWF was
Yep.
Fuji and Saito. You guys were, pretty much paired together, and you worked, all across the states for WWF at the time. What were your memories of working with Fuji and Saito?
Constant. It was a constant thing. Always working. Always working.
Were they giving as far as your matches?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Fuji was known for being a huge ribber. Obviously, you've heard the same stories that I've heard. You have any memories of some of the ribs that he's pulled besides the dog food one?
Everybody knows about the dog food one.
Yeah.
The only other rib that I really remember him doing was one of the boys asked him to take his car down to get an oil change. Guy was going to be gone for 2 or 3 days. Asked Fuji to take the car down and get the oil change. The guy came back. He went to pay the bill, and the bill was $1,200. while he was gone, Fuji, not only did he get the oil change, from what I understand, he got 4 brand new tires. He got a major tune-up. He got a new battery. The transmission was all tuned up. New exhaust system. Everything. And the guy figured he was, $20 for an oil change in 1982, and he gets a $1,200 bill.
Did he pay it?
Yep.
Did Fuji pay him back, or?
I don't know.
Wow. So I believe it was June 28th, 1982. You guys defeated Fuji and Saito for the
first time.
Yep, for WWF Tag Team titles. Memories of that match?
Unbelievable. It happened in Madison Square Garden, and to walk out into Madison Square Garden for somebody new who's never been in that territory, to walk into Madison Square Garden and there's 27,500 people, it can be a little bit overwhelming. But Jay said, "What'd you see out there?" And I said, "That's a big building." He said, "That's right. It's just another building. It's just another wrestling arena. Don't let it get you." And we had good matches with him.
Now, the crowd heat back then was amazing. I mean, the fans pretty much bought everything. What was it like for you to go out there and perform in front of the fans that were so rabid?
Scary at first. There was more fear. There was more frightening to me getting from the dressing room to the ring than it was getting in the ring and working. Because Jay had told me a story one time where he walked out, and as he walked through the gate, his headdress disappeared, and he watched it go through the crowd, and people taking feathers off of his headdress. Huh. And that can be a little disconcerting, when you haven't even gotten to the ring, and all of a sudden your gear is starting to take a hike on you.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I believe you lost the belts back to them, I believe, a month later, July 13th.
Yep.
Why was it so quick?
It wasn't that we lost the belts back to them. They were held up for some reason. There was a complaint lodged or something, as part of it. And
right.
What it did is it prolonged our stay it prolonged my stay in WWF.
I believe like 2 months later they gave you the belts again, October 26th.
Yep.
For the second time. So, and then the Samoans came into the territory. Now with the Samoans and Fuji and Saito, did you see any of the guys like fighting over their spots, or did pretty much everybody get along?
Everybody got along. As far as I could tell, everybody was getting along.
What are your memories of working with Afa and Sika?
A lot of fun.
Easy work?
Very, very definitely some of the best matches I've had were with those two guys.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.